I thought I would make a video about love and spirituality this morning because I feel like that's the most important in life, and I don't think people really focus on that as much as they should. When I was 20, around 20 something, I started thinking about what I want my life to be like, because I felt like there was something missing spiritually, and there was, because the way that the world works is very spiritually detached. There's a lot of materialism and a lot of chasing after mutual interests and things like that. So I started sort of reading and learning about spirituality and I came across some writings about learning to live in the present moment, or learning to enjoy every moment, trying to enjoy every moment. So I seriously have spent about 20 years of my life trying to focus my mind on the present moment, which means the best way to describe it is becoming aware of your subconscious emotions. And subconscious emotions can be very complex. So you essentially meditate. You don't have to sit there with your legs crossed and meditate. It's just trying to meditate and focus in everything that you do in life. It's easier to do this when you are relaxed and you're lying down, but the idea of it is to kind of transcend the physical realm. So this focus and the idea of transcending the physical realm has been written about and studied a lot, obviously. And I found it very interesting. So I found that when I started practicing this, I started mostly lying down in bed. And it's kind of like the idea of not really thinking about anything and just feeling things, and then trying to focus on those feelings. And then you find yourself in some kind of elevated, like some kind of quite powerful elevated emotional states is what I would describe it as. So it's definitely something that feels very good, and it feels unlike anything that otherwise makes you happy in life. It's more powerful than feelings of just being happy when your kids are happy, when you buy something, or when you do something positive. It's more powerful than any kind of positive feelings you could have otherwise in life. It's the way I would describe it is subconsciously highly elevating. So seeing your kids happy or experiencing happy things in life can be very highly subconsciously elevating, and it is. But when you're in this state of meditation, you are aware of those things more. And then the more you focus on those things and the more you are aware of those things, you feel like you end up feeling even more highly elevated. So the more you focus on those things, the more you feel those things, and the more intense those elevated emotions become. So I had a lifestyle where I would do a lot of exercise, and I still do a lot of exercise, but I end up doing lots of different stuff between exercise, and I actually live a very energetic kind of existence. So I do end up doing lots of different stuff. And exercise is kind of like, when I exercise, I get a natural high that lasts maybe up to 12 hours. So I already feel good from the natural high. And then if you combine that with focusing your mind on these moments, on enjoying the present moment, something happens where I spent a lot of time kind of feeling euphoric in life, and there was no particular reason for me to feel euphoric. I was fit and healthy, and I got a bit lucky in life in general. But I don't know, there was no particular reason. And this life that I had started living, where I was focusing my mind and meditating as much as I could, doing anything in life. And I was doing a lot of exercise, and I was eating mostly very good for most of the time. But I've recently realized I've done some things wrong with my nutrition, and I've fixed those things, and I think that'll help me even further, particularly as I'm aging in the future. So I think when you feel these elevated emotions, if you look at people who pray in Christianity or any other religion, that's essentially what they do. They're kind of meditating and focusing on some kind of elevated emotional states. So when you spend your life living that way, you kind of realize that it's possible. So I wasn't euphoric all the time. I had my ups and downs, but most of the time, like maybe 70% of the time over the last 20 years, I kind of felt euphoric. I was just happy. And when things happened in my life that were very stressful, or that I didn't really like, or when I came across some kind of information on the internet that I didn't really like, I did sense that those things did have a very deep subconscious negative impact on me. But because I had trained myself to live in this way, where I had a specific lifestyle, a specific set of habits, and those habits, with meditation and the focus and the exercise, overpowered anything negative that could have affected me. So it makes you strong, and that has been studied by civilizations throughout history, like meditation and mental strength in battle and wars and things like that. And so it is very powerful, and there's many books written about it. I didn't really read too many books. I just kind of figured out what it was, and I just focused on doing it. Recently, I had some stressful issues with my health that have been fully resolved now. But I think the reason I was able to get through that, I would like to say it was easy, but it was definitely one of the hardest things that I've done, was because of the way that I've developed these habits and trained my mind for very many years. So I think what I'm trying to say, one of the things that I wanted to say in this video is that we live in a very materialistic driven world full of mutual interests and people just doing whatever they can for profit, and there's a sense of a loss of spirituality and love. I kind of thought that when I was 20, and so, or even younger, and then that's why I decided to live in the way that I've lived. I think a lot of people's mental health problems have a lot to do with materialism and consumerism and things like this. And they may not even realize it. So I feel like if I hadn't lived the way that I'd lived, which is focusing on the present moment and developing these habits of exercise and being on a natural high a lot of the time, I feel like I probably maybe wouldn't really know what love feels like, because I feel like love is what these elevating emotions actually are. So when you see people praying religious prayers. What that actually is meditation and love. So I felt like my mother raised me in a way where I felt a lot of love. So my brain was wired, I guess, as a child to feel love and to know what love is. So what I had a hard time recently, and I kind of lost this, slightly lost my ability to focus on these elevated, deep, complex, subconscious kind of states. And so I was going to say, I think it definitely results in some kind of higher level of emotional intelligence, living like this. But I don't really like the term emotional intelligence. I think there's some things wrong with the science of psychology, and I think anyway, so I'm going to focus my mind and my body on the things that I've done, and I feel like I felt more love than I ever would have otherwise. When I see people, when I see people doing things, I can kind of sense if or not they are, I was going to say enjoying themselves, but I can sense when a person's just doing something because they have to do it, and I can sense when a person's actually spiritually elevated while they're doing something. So when you're spiritually elevated and you're doing something, you're basically not really in the physical world. You're actually emotionally somewhere else, somewhere kind of beautiful and maybe euphoric would be the right word to use. And I find it a bit sad to, when I go out and I interact with people, this is one of the problems that I kind of sense, is this lack of this spirituality in general, and there's people just doing things just because things need to be done, rather than focusing on the present moment, which would allow them to transcend reality and become kind of spiritual beings, I guess, and positive beings, I guess. So that's all I wanted to talk about, I guess. I think I just said I guess a lot, but I'm not really guessing. That's what I know. So the video is about the importance of focusing on the present moment and developing habits that will elevate you above the physical realm into something that's beautiful and positive. There's actually a really nice view out the window here. There's a lot of blue sky. It's a nice sunny day, but I'm kind of out this balcony door, but I don't want to show the location of this place because I don't think there's any point to show random people on YouTube the location of where I am. I'm going to, I still have a couple of weeks that I want to take off and just to recover. And then I'm going to slowly start finishing this renovation. And after that I have a few things in mind. So I kind of talked about some kind of renovating stuff tomorrow, but I mean yesterday, I feel like that video was a bit rushed. So in the future, when I'm doing the skirting boards or some of the renovation, I'll actually do a video of myself doing that, and I'll talk a bit in the video. It's kind of a little apartment here, but it's a very nice location near the beach. And I do enjoy it, but there's a lot more sunlight here in the summer. So both of these rooms are kind of drenched in sunlight until about 10 or maybe 11 a.m. in summer. And there's definitely a window missing there, because if I had put a window there, there would be sunlight here all day. There would be, it's just so much nicer to have natural sunlight as interior lighting. I think the best option is just to put a door with some glass on there. That way you get some sunlight here, and then a big fridge there, and I'll have to do some painting, and a lot of things in the bathroom need to be done, and as I said, these little sticks need to be painted and cut and put around the perimeter of the walls, and the furniture needs to be in, and I'm getting kind of sick of this. It's been, I like this, there's not much colour in here, so I put this, I like this, and I put it there, but maybe I can put it somewhere else, because the colour is so nice, because there's not much colour here. I will be moving the TV because back into this room, because just on that wall, because and there will be a single bed behind that table resting up against the wall, so that my mother can visit me, and I'll put a couch here, obviously, and we can spend some time here. I spend quite a bit of time here. And what was I saying? Right, so the bedroom, I think I said this yesterday, but I was kind of rushing to make a video or something. I don't know why. I don't need to rush, and I don't like doing things quickly, because of this reason where if you do things quickly, you are less likely to be able to focus on the present moment. I don't like, I find when I end up doing things quickly anyway, if I'm in the right state of mind, but if I'm not, it feels like you're rushing. So it's all about a state of mind that you're in, but generally speaking, I think everyone is rushing, and that's everyone seems to be rushing to do something in the modern world, and that's a part of it. The issues, so it's the issues of the modern world, materialism and mutual interests, and some kind of rushing to do things, chasing after profits, and so you don't really, I think most people don't really need to work in jobs that are stressful. I don't really think, I mean, some people like them, most people I don't think do, but they kind of deal with them, and I think this kind of focusing on the present moment can definitely help with some kind of stressful work, but I generally try to stay away from any kind of stress in life. And when I do come across something very stressful, I can handle it a lot easier. I don't like stress because it feels unintelligent, is the best way that I can describe it. But in regard to working in there isn't really that many jobs where you feel a lot of stress. Most jobs, if you're healthy mentally, most people shouldn't be feeling stress, unless they work in some kind of emergency rooms where they're around some trauma or suffering or something. But if you're in an office, any kind of office job, in my opinion, this is why a lot of business people and these people who work in the corporate world study this kind of presence in the present moment kind of focus, because it eliminates stress, or it helps control and manage stress very well. But I think if you have, unless you feel like your life is in danger or you're around some kind of trauma or suffering, I don't think people should be feeling stress. I think there's a lot of, I think the reason people feel stress maybe is because of a lot of little things like, for example, just driving to a job and driving along the road can be stressful. It's kind of dangerous, and so those a lot of little things I think accumulate in life into some kind of stress. And I think with the technology, with AI, and hopefully AI will be good to us in the future, but I think it'll eliminate a lot of this stress, and people hopefully they'll have universal basic income, and hopefully things will just move in a positive direction for everyone, and hopefully it'll eliminate the stress. I think I'll just leave it at that for this video, and I don't know when I'm going to make another video, probably maybe 2 weeks from now when I start some of these renovations.